you want your drill beats to sound like this? Or do you want them to sound like this? I am so sorry, output. I love everything else you guys put out, but this? No. If your answer is the first one, then stick around, because by the end of this video, your drill beats will level up. Alright, so I was searching for some kind of female choir I could use for the melody. I tried arcade, wasn't having much luck. I tried splice, same shit. But then I found this. So then I completely legally acquired the sample, then threw it into FL Studio. So I started by scouring the parts of the sample that stood out to me, and I found this part. Then duplicated it over like so. Then I chopped a separate piece from the sample and added it to the end for some variation. Now that was sounding pretty hard, but I wanted one more section for the sample. So I opened the sample up in Slice X, then I just kind of fucked around with the chops till I got this. Sounds hard, but let's add a couple extra things to it. We're gonna grab this bass from an upcoming kit. Now we're gonna use kickstart to add some rhythm to these strings. Alright, so let's start off with two sounds, this and this. And let's just alternate the notes until I get a pattern that I like. Make sure to play with the velocity of your notes for more variation in the bounce. Anyway, this is what we've ended up on. Now I like making my counter snares quite wide, so I use a free plugin like Wider 2. Now make sure you get wider 2 instead of 1, because it now has a feature where you can bypass the low end. In simple terms, you can make a sound wider without affecting the low end. This would be very useful for like a 808 or something like that. Now it's time to lay the snare down. Lay the first snare note down on the 3, and then the second note on the 8, and then just duplicate it over. And of course, it's entirely up to you. You can add some more notes in between. One thing I've been doing recently is grabbing a drum fill, then I'll chop it up a little bit. Super easy way to add an extra layer of bounce to your beats without that much effort. Anyway, kick turn. Now I don't know about you, but I like my kicks sounding like they're just full of testosterone. So I always just crank my velocity up to the max.
I need the max win.
That clip didn't even make any sense. I just wanted an excuse to use it in the video. I usually place a note at the start and a note on the 3. Then I'll just fill in the gaps depending on the bounce of the sample. Now to give my kick some more impact, I'm gonna sidechain it to the melody. I've run through how to do this numerous times in my previous videos, but this may be your first time watching me, so I'm gonna let my boy, Sir David Attenborough, give you a quick deep dive.
Here's how to make your kick slap the living shit out of your melody. First, you select your kick on the mixer channel. While it's selected, click this arrow on the sound you want sidechained and click sidechain to this track. And that's it. No, I'm just fucking with you, G. Next we open up a Fruity limiter and right-click on this menu that says Sidechain and select our kick. It won't show up on here if you haven't done the previous steps. Next, we adjust the threshold, knee and ratio until we are happy with the result. This graph is a visual representation of what it's doing to our melody. Now back to you, Jay. You fucking Don.
Man like David, come on. Now for the 808, we're gonna grab this one from my next drum kit. And for the 808 pattern, remember the bass line that I laid down earlier? We're just gonna do that again because we know it's gonna work with the sample. And now that we have our main notes down, we can get a bit snazzy with it and add more notes to build up tension at the end of the 8-bar. And then we can add some slides too. When I'm adding slides, I tend to make the bass notes about 2 squares in length, and that's on the 1/4 setting. Next, I'll switch to 1/6 and tap on this slide tool. That'll make it so the next note I lay down is a slide note. When I place this on top of my bass note now, the slides will be nice and short. In terms of slide note advice, there's not really much I can tell you. Just try different note combos till you get something that you like. You could try moving your slides over for a delayed slide effect, or play with the length of the slides. Right now I'm using the minor scale, but you could try using the Phrygian scale for your slide notes. Just see what works for you. But make sure the slide notes are in key. No one likes out of key slides.
And I gotta run up the bag. I gotta chase me a check.
I stand corrected. Now I'll usually split my patterns out when I'm happy with the beat so that I can arrange the beat a bit better. I can delay the kick or 808 coming in, or remove percussion for parts of the beat. I'll also use rises and effects to emphasize parts of the beat. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're having trouble making melodies from scratch, this video will probably help. You can click it now.